Hey, welcome to Advanced Applied Econometrics in the summer semester 2021. And this is the second year in a row already that we doing the course online due to the pandemic situation. Therefore, instead of having the syllabus in a lecture hall, in this video, I would like to go with you. It's also about the content and some organizational issues that how we make it work smoothly for this semester. Let's go. This is the syllabus. I already uploaded the PDF of it on eCampus. You can also check it out yourself. First of all, the course will be taught by me and Gao and Professor Silke Hütte from Production Economics chair. And we will also reuse some videos done by Professor Thomas Heckerlein last summer semester. As you know, this is the second year of the online course already. So here's my contact information. Easiest way is just to write me an email. And then when necessary, we could arrange some meeting via Zoom, as meeting in person is not yet allowed. Okay. So this course, Advanced Applied Econometrics, accounts for 6 credit points when you decide to obtain a credit from a course. Time and place, we will have 2 live sessions, one on Tuesday and one on Thursdays. So these are the regular lecture time that we had before when the lecture happens on site in the lecture hall, but now we have it via Zoom. I come back to that later. So the objectives of this course is to give you some chance to some opportunity to improve or to acquire the competence in certain applied econometrics method. And a bit different from what you had before, now we will build that upon thorough understanding of different estimation techniques. So this understanding is not just about how to estimate a model, how to arrive in a coefficient beta like before, but also about what problem we may run into with our data and estimation, why, and how to solve, how to fix that. Now, so it will be more technical and more to the root of the problems. And of course, we're learning econometrics. We also have the chance to improve our skill with the programming software or statistical software, and here in particular R programming language. So this is what, to my understanding, you have got in touch with during the time you did empirical method of research, the quantitative part last semester, right? And now we will do a bit more, play around a bit more with it. Okay. And last but not least, we also learn how to interpret the results in a meaningful way, correctly, using these advanced regression techniques. The prerequisites for this course is you have to have some introductory course in probability, theories, and statistics already before. Most of us, I think, learn that in school or in the bachelor, but frequently, as far as I know, you also have some review of it in the quantitative empirical research method course, right? And that together with introductory course in econometrics, including multiple regressions. Just simply mean the regression that you have more than one variable on the right-hand side, explanatory variable. And then last but not least, this we suppose that you have the willingness to learn econometrics, really want to make an effort to learn something by preparing for class thoroughly with the reading, the watching the video, solving the problem sets. Those problem sets will be graded, and unlike other classes, this advanced applied econometric course will be graded entirely during the semester. 100% will be based on individual weekly assignment handed every week and 2 in-class tests. So those 2 include one somewhere in the middle of the semester and another one at the end of semester. The way we will do it will be similar to the way the final exam of microeconomics took place last semester. So those 2 tests account for 25% each, will be very much theoretical. You have to write on the paper the answer, and the remaining 50% will be based on these assignments. I talk more about it later. Reading and textbook. So the course material will be drawn heavily upon Verbeck, 2012, A Guide to Modern Econometrics. This is the 4th edition. And the second one, somewhat less, but here and there, and especially in the endogeneity part, you will see some more of Woolrich, 2020, Introductory Econometrics, a Modern Approach, the 7th edition. These 2 textbooks available in the library. You can get it there. However, given the limited operation of library at the moment, similar like before, we will also provide scanned copy of certain part of written text required on eCampus. You could also buy it for yourself, and for this, we will provide you a discount code where you can use to buy this book with discount. I will put it on eCampus when I obtain that. Okay. Apart from those 2, these free books from Kennedy, Gujarati, and Porter and Gujarati is somewhat less advanced, and that they could offer some easier access or approach or intuition to the question if you may have whenever you feel like you have to step one step backward and think about certain piece of knowledge that provided. You can you can refer to these free books. And then we also have free recommendations for those who really want to go deeper, even deeper into the method and the technical aspect, even though what we will do here is already very formal, but this free textbook will offer you something can be said a bit more advanced or with more careful, detailed treatments of the method and the math part. Last, a very useful ebook is available for free about R software for econometrics. So the application of R for econometrics, and the nice thing about that is it builds on an econometrics textbook, the Woolrich that we saw above. So this available online via this link. You can check it out. However, to my experience, a lot of time, especially with R, it will be helpful to use Google. So you can put your question, even though in the beginning it may not be clear for you what to ask, try to formulate some question or just simply copy your error message on Google. And as you go, you will learn better how to ask the question and find your solution. That's my experience. Other course material apart from textbook will be provided by eCampus. Well, scan of textbook, of course, will also be provided by eCampus. However, what I mean here is the PowerPoint slide. Usually I will make it available together with the lecture video. So those video aim to explain the slide, right? To build up the understanding for certain topics. And from my part, the slide will be a mixture of my video and some video we used from Professor Heckelite from previous year. But, I will inform you as we go. And unfortunately, no lectures in physical presence allowed yet on campus. So again, we operate totally via eCampus, lecture video, live session via Zoom to discuss when you still have questions with the video or for a question for your assignment. And the reason why we have two online Zoom meeting now for 2 days per week is because it may be challenging for advanced applied econometrics, somewhat more intensive. You can see already, and you would have to work a bit more. Minimum 10 hours per week, I would say. But more than that, much more than that is also not unusual. Based on the time, back to the time I was a student also. For Zoom, I think I don't have to talk further how to set it up, as you must have all the experience needed already by now. Only one thing that I would really wish to see your face during the live session, at least once in a while. So please consider that, even though it's not a must. Okay. Assignment. Apart from the 2 texts in class tests, like I said, the weekly assignment must be individual. So you're not working in group for the assignment anymore, like what with microeconomics, because this estimation analysis, sooner or later, you will have to carry out yourself. So it's a good chance to learn to work independent now, to be prepared for the time that nobody can help you out with that. Of course, we could assist you with questions, right? Answering your question. And this assignment will be made available typically after the Thursday class and due before the Thursday class next week. So you have a week to solve it. And the one who will be in charge of managing the assignments this year is my colleague Martin Taber Ojong, and his email address I already put here. So he will upload the new assignments, create your assignment, and may also be available for answering your question when you have understanding question or technical problems. However, intensive tutoring is not possible. Because of that, I encourage you to communicate, to put the question forward for the assignment in the Tuesday live session. For now, we have 2 live sessions. However, at one point, that may be subject to change when we think it's not necessary or too much. That we could decide as we go, and also depends on each lecturer. It is not a must that you will have to use R. Technically, you could use any statistical software or programming software to solve the problem, to carry on the example that's provided in class. However, we will mainly base the examples and the problem set that we use here during the course in R. So it's a very powerful language, open resource with a huge community of users will be helpful when you encounter a problem, and it's free. I think by now most of you must have installed already, but if not yet, then you could go to this link and prepare the installation by yourself. And one important thing about the assignment is please decide whether you want to obtain a credit from a course before the examination, the exam registration deadline, because afterwards it's not possible anymore to withdraw. No. Let's talk about the course content. So already next week, the first week, we will spend some time refreshing our knowledge about statistic theories. Yeah. These things, I think you have the review already in the empirical method of research, but here we will adapt the notation and also emphasize again, some important concepts that will help you follow the material of the remaining of the course better. Then we have a quick introduction. Then in the second part, we review the ordinary list square or OLS estimator here, but more something in there you already learned before in your earlier econometric courses, also in empirical research course. However, here we repeat again with a more technical, a different perspective. Then we also will expand it a bit, look at Gauss-Markov assumption and what's the implication of it for the OLS estimator. Naturally following, we look at the consequence of the violation of the Gauss-Markov assumption and how to fix the problem when you encounter these issues. In section 4, we will look at model specification, especially about functional forms and variable choice. And here, apart from the classical econometrics content, we will also introduce some special techniques for variable choice borrowed from machine learning. So we will have an exciting guest lecture over there from one of my colleagues who specialized very much in machine learning. And then there we will also see the relation of those machine learning techniques as it stands for econometrics, why and how they're related. Yeah. So after this section 4, we the course will be handed over to Professor Sicker-Hütter. She will introduce and work through with you the endogenous regressions, the problem of endogeneity and simultaneous equations, which is one of the most interesting and also most important problem in economics, because you may have heard about it earlier already, that unlike other hard science, economics doesn't have a lot of experimental setup, right? The problem, the research questions that we have very often based on real life situation. And for these situations, sometimes it's hard to identify the causal relationship among the variables as we're interested in. And therefore, here it's necessary to get to know specific techniques to identify such causal relations whenever possible, because of course it's not always possible that we could identify that. No? And then Professor Hütter will also continue further with panel data models. So that is the model that look at both the time dimension and the cross-sectional dimension of the data. This is a very strong expertise of Professor Hütter. So I'm also very much looking forward for that part. Then after that, I will come back to you with the maximum likelihood estimation. Yeah. So and specification test. So this is a different estimation techniques compared to, for example, ordinary listware that we learned before, because it's allowed for more flexibility in the form of the dependent variable and the probability distribution. Why do we need this? It tied directly to the last section with qualitative and limited dependent variables models. So typically, we use to the continuous variables, which we fed into the ordinary listware. However, there's cases that you have, for example, the surveys in which participants responded only yes or no, or the variables that you don't observe the entire range of it, but some part is already cut away and you only have like a certain part of the distribution. So in order to estimate such model, maximum likelihood estimator is necessary. So we cover these two parts together as well. And that is it for this semester. Okay. Now, let me add a few more words, because I know that I will give you a lot of pain in the next month. So maybe fair to give you some motivation ahead. Now, so first of all, keep in mind econometrics, which draws upon heavily upon probability and statistic theories. It is difficult, and not just difficult for you, but is in general difficult for us human beings, for our brain to process, to gain an intuition over there. So many study in psychology and behavior economics already pointed that out. So please, if it's hard, don't repress yourself by thinking that you're just not too good for it. It's hard for everyone genetically. For example, you can look at my old textbook. This is a ebook, and I've been using it for 5 years, since the time I took the econometric class. Like you can see inside there's a lot of highlight and drawings, and also some pages falling out, just because I turned around too much. And despite the fact that I worked with the assignment part in the last years, every year I feel like I have to learn something again and again. So the fact that I'm here nowadays teaching you econometrics just means that I learn it many more years than you do. And this year I'm still learning, even though as a teacher, a lecturer, I should and I have to deliver some content according to my obligation. However, I would like to think it more as a learning process, and I would invite you to join that learning process with me this semester, and hopefully we will have good learning experience together. Yeah. Then the next question is, why, if it's so hard, if it's so difficult, so painful, why do we have to learn it? Why should we learn it? The point I said before already. So this is a fantastic book that I really want to make a recommendation to you, because it's not only for you to carry out some empirical research or data analysis yourself that you need this knowledge, but also, whether you want or not, in your everyday life you encounter such analysis a lot, and on the media here and there in your daily life, and knowing something about that, you will help you consume the data more wisely. I said in this book, the Every Data from John Johnson and Mike Kluck. Now, so the author make a fantastic job to point out many examples where there's problem with data analysis that only when you educate it in a sense you will recognize the problem and not follow the conclusion blindly. Okay, and it's surprisingly because they wrote it very simple and without any equations. So in a way, very you will feel very related. And so I would like to sort of give you a treat by recommending that book. Some of you may find it trivial, which is also good because that shows that you make some sort of progress in your study, right? And the next book is Randomness. So this is from Deborah Bennett, and it's a very intriguing book about the developing of probability theory and how researchers of early time carry out their experiments with statistics and also develop the theories. So that will help you, if like me, to have a bit more appreciation, to be grateful for the toolbox that we have nowadays. And it also may help with intuition about certain basic probability theories. Okay, so that's for it. I'm really looking forward to the experience with you this semester, and I hope, as usual, you will feel free to give me feedback and opinion about how you think the course can be done better, certain things as we go along. Nah? Then we see each other the first time on a live meeting next Tuesday already. Goodbye.